Sunday prayer service of the year. My name is Laura Massey from Two Feathers Medicine on the Andrew Bartzis New Teachings platform. So welcome to this Winter Solstice meditation, journey, visualization. I always find this time of year really magical. Something about the long nights, the twinkly lights, and the magic surrounding even the words winter solstice for me. So let's have an exploration into some of the meaning and some of what we can do to make the winter solstice mean something to us. So I want you to sit back, to relax, close your eyes, come with me, come to your special place, either a prayer ground where you've done prayers before. Even if it's just visionary, we can hold prayer grounds within the unseen world that we visit many times. Maybe it's a clearing in a forest. Maybe it's a special prayer ground where you light your fires. For today, we'll do a winter solstice fire as well. So come with me to your special place. So mine is walking down off the hills, a day's walk, gathering firewood, bundles on my back. It's cold. We're in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm wrapped in blankets, maybe furs, with fur boots. I'm walking down through the pine forests, those deep, dark, mystical places, those places of deep peace. Can you feel now that deep peace within you? The wood is perhaps strapped to your back or you're carrying a basket. This is your prayer wood you're going to use for your winter solstice fire. And the grandmothers whose teaching this is are asking you, have you been doing your prayers over your wood? Have you done the due diligence necessary to do your own winter solstice fire? So carry the wood down in a soft pathway between the trees, the four winds whispering between the branches. The winds bring many messages. Today they are of introspection and retrospection, of peace, but also of victories of rebirth and new beginnings. There's many messages carried in the winds for the winter solstice. So we're going down now through the pine needles and the leaves, and it's starting to snow, and it's soft and gentle, and it brings a peace over the lands. The sun's going down in the west, that place of the brown bear, that place you go to dream. You come down through the trees and into a clearing. This is my fire ground and my prayer ground. And the remnants of previous fires, maybe from autumn equinox, are there in my own little natural fire pit. I've saved from wood from my other fires, for the energies and the alchemy has always continued. If you save a little piece of wood that's been in the fire from your previous fires, that contains all the prayers and all the wisdoms, everything that you've shared with Grandfather Fire in the previous fires is there for you now. So use that wood too to start your own winter solstice fire. We'll step down now into the circle of stones. stones that I've placed around the fire. There's always a stone to the north, a stone to the east, a stone to the south, and a stone to the west, said with prayers to open sacred space. And again, the 4 points in between. So there's 8 stones laid around my fire. This also forms a boundary in the seen and the unseen world. This is where your sacred space is going to be for your winter solstice fire. Set down your wood and start to stack the fire. There's logs there because you're prepared. Some of the logs have got snow on now, which will be perfect to create the alchemy of steam later on your fire. I always make setting the fire a ritual. So say prayers as you lay the wood. Acknowledge the 7 directions, acknowledge the 4 winds. Call in Grandfather Sun, who's giving you the energy for the fire. Call in Grandmother Moon, who's soon going to appear above the treetops. Call in the great Sky Nation, your sky brothers and sisters. Call in the cloud beings and the thunder beings. Call in Earth Mother, where you walk every day on Earth Mother. Call in and acknowledge Earth Mother. And call in your guides, guardians and angels, your whole divine soup, whatever it is for you. And call in the ancestors, for without them you would not be here now, lighting this winter solstice fire. Acknowledge those ancestors too as you open sacred space. So you light the fire in opening sacred space. And as soon as you've lit that fire, you have created a portal to the unseen. This is a time for honour and respect, and to show what you have learned, and to look at what you're going to learn in the coming year after winter solstice. We've now stepped out of fraud time. We're in beautiful no time moments. There's just the clear sky above with your star brothers and sisters. There's the snow softly falling. Very little wind through the trees. And maybe you'd like to invite in the grandmothers, for this is also their special place around the fire with you now at the winter solstice. And if you call on the grandmothers and you believe they are there, they will happily come and share with you their wisdom. And it is a time of sharing. It is a time of acknowledging their wisdom within you and the wisdom you can give back to them for how you live on earth now. For those of you who are listening and do these practices, we are a modern shaman in a modern world. And we're bringing forward some of these beautiful indigenous teachings out of respect for the ancestors, but also because their teachings are so valid and so needed now. And we can deliver these teachings and be magical and mystical about it, and bring great joy and great peace to these moments. And that's what we want to do today. Surround yourself with the peace of the falling snow, with the peace of the grandmother's presence. And as the fire takes hold, you can move your hands and talk to the fire. Move the energies around. Encourage friend fire to speak to you in its crackling and hissing and popping. You've put on your prayer bundles. They can be your bundles of twigs to start your fire that you've said prayers into over the last few months. And the due diligence I spoke of earlier is that preparation needed before your fire. The prayers over the wood, the prayers at the prayer ground. So you've placed your wood on the fire. Maybe you want to read a revocation or two to open the sacred space. Remember, this is your sanctuary. This is a place of stillness. And we need to be very present, very grounded, very in our bodies. And always to honour the fire. And thank friend fire is one of the first things we do. The grandmothers will ask you as you're sat here with them, have you done what it takes to be at this fire? So that you can get the meanings in the messages the fire and the grandmothers are sending to you. Have you done what it takes to know how to share your wisdom with the grandmothers and with others? We're here at a time of the great remembering and great awakening. And we're here carrying that mantle of responsibility. If you're listening to this, you're a frequency match for these teachings. And whether you know it or not, you're here to take on that responsibility, the mantle of responsibility for the future generations and the past generations. Because any healing we do around this fire today for this winter solstice not only heals us, mind, body and spirit, it heals our ancestors and it heals those future generations. So we are the responsible ones now, for we have our feet on earth. We've come now, and our ancestors strove, worked hard, did their due diligence so that we could be here now. So we owe it to them, we owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to our future generations. If we have that awareness and that consciousness to do our bit towards the fifth world of peace. And that doesn't mean treading on other people's journeys. It means doing something like this, doing a winter fire to help heal ourselves, to raise our awareness, to raise our consciousness. One of the messages of winter solstice is the letting go. The letting go of the past year, the letting go of all that doesn't serve us, as we will step forward into a new year very soon. And after this longest night, the days will gradually become longer, the nights become shorter, and we will enter new light. So this is a time of renewal, of rebirth, but it's also the time we look back. We look back with our victories. We look back with wisdom, with hindsight. What have we done this year? What have we achieved? Where have we moved forward? What do we still need to work on? Those of you who know these and Andrew's teachings know that we speak a lot about inner work. That's calling yourselves out for the programs, the conditioning, things that run us when we should be running them, the programs that sit in our parasympathetic and our vagus nerve that tell us to do things or say things or act in a particular way that could be hurtful to others or not for our best interests on our journey, not what our souls plan for us. Sometimes it's what has been planned for us as a way for us to learn. And these times hold so many potentials for us if we just learn to let go. If we just learn, rather than trying to run our lives, maybe dance with our lives. Dance with great mystery, great spirit. Get the great co-creation with the universe. Not always to get what you want. Sometimes it's about what we need. So a winter solstice fire is one for great potentials, and ask the grandmothers to show you what great potentials there are for you. If you're carrying that mantle of responsibility, if you're willing to step forward and continue to offer your contribution in service to light, allow them to show you all the wonderful possibilities there are there for you. On your road, on your good red road, walk to the fifth world of peace. You may want to read some prayers at your fire. You may want to sit in silence for a while. Acknowledge friend fire. Continue to talk to friend fire. He is your portal to the unseen world now. This is a time when the grandmothers with those potentials can show you the greater you that you can be. Have a peek now to your future, how you'd like it to be. For that you can co-create too. Talk to the grandmothers about it. When you've talked about your victories and what you've overcome this year, have a look at what you'd like to achieve next year. What's on that great horizon for you after these long nights coming up to the winter solstice? Have a look at other versions of you. Ask the grandmothers to help you see those other versions of you, those versions that are going to carry you forward to do your great work. Enjoy, carrying joy in your heart. Ask them to show you where you've become heart and mind disconnected, and then to show you what life looks like when you live from heart-spaced awareness. Learning to acknowledge the unseen world, learning to thank the unseen world, learning to use discernment with the unseen world is one of the lessons of sitting with the fire today. How discerning are you in your relationships with the unseen world and with this world? Are you an empath without boundaries? So you often walked over and hurt? Or do you set up so many boundaries and so extreme in your boundaries that you've cut everything off? Have you become a hermit? Because now's the time to not be a hermit anymore. Now's the time to step up and do your great work, what you have to offer the world. Ask the grandmothers to show you within those potentials what you have to offer the world. Because the world needs you, it needs your wisdom. It needs you out there giving your great services. We all have something we can offer. So sit with the grandmothers for a while. Try and absorb some of their messages. And it doesn't stop here. The dreams in the future, if you ask, you can be connected back to the grandmothers or to your guides or to your guardians, your angels, your ancestors, whatever medium it is for you in this co-exchange, this co-creation of wisdom. Now's also a good time where you can create other light bodies, other parts of you that can help you. Sometimes we call them precognitive workforce, where we send out light bodies to clear the way for us, maybe to take prayers ahead of time to sacred sites, maybe to do something for us in dream time, maybe to clear the way in a difficult day. Our precogs are there for that. Maybe we can create another light body today to serve a purpose, something you need doing in the future for your greater good. Again, you can ask the grandmothers, what is it you need to pay attention to? Create a light body. It's just visualization. It's another part of you. A light body to help you do your great work. This is part of the joy of sitting by the fire now, so that you can create other pieces of you. There's also a time when you can call in pieces and parts of you that are lost, that have been lost for a long time, shards that are being too scared to come back in the body, or for whatever reason created through trauma. There's time now that we can call them back into ourselves. The fire will be the portal for that. Call them back in to reintegrate. If they're coming in equal co-creation, non-competition, non-hierarchical order, ask them to come back in and work with you, reintegrate back into you, the being of the now. For you are the apex of your own hierarchical order, walking on two legs on this earth. And you need to be as complete as you are, which is why we do the inner work. The grandmothers will ask you if you've done the inner work at the fire, if you've done the inner work leading up to the fire, to make yourself as sovereign and complete as possible, to be a real, authentic you. It's a continual process. It's not a one and done thing. But this is something they will ask when you sit at the fire. This is things we have to own up to, face. It's called being accountable and being responsible if we want to be sovereign, self-mastered beings on this journey to peace. So we've looked at the past, we've looked at our victories, we're looking at the potentials for the future. It's a time of renewal at the solstice fire, and a time to rest and also recover. Maybe with those other light bodies you've created, start to think about a future for yourselves. Something that's positive and will bring you joy, something that involves your passion. Have a look at what you can do in the future. One, to contribute to your own journey of healing. That will have a knock-on effect for others. It's not selfish to be looking at our own journey. It's where we make all the changes to our inner and outer expression, our inner and outer landscape. And when we do that, we have an amazing knock-on effect in this world. Remembering always to align ourselves to the earth's natural energies, to align ourselves with Earth Mother, to align ourselves with all the old teachings of the compass points of north, south, east and west, of all the continually rearranging elements of air, fire, earth and water. That's where the realness of us is. That's where we came from. So it's a time of rebirth too, looking forward to the days getting longer and how we're going to go about doing our great work as we go more into the light, using our intention and our focus, creating that with the fire, talking to friend fire about it. Take a moment. We've spoken a lot now. Take a moment. I want you to really feel where you are. Really feel the grandmothers around you. Really feel your ancestors around you. They are wherever you are. Your ancestors are always with you, willing you on to do your great work. There for more support than we often recognize or we realize or acknowledge. Yet still they do that for you, whether we're aware of it or not. But once you're aware of your ancestors being there, once you're aware of the grandmothers being there, or being here, they're just here with us now. We can acknowledge them We can ask for help where we need it. We can communicate with them. And in that communication is the co-creation of the wisdom. For our wisdom assists them and their wisdom assists us. And what are you asking is the purpose of all this? Most people want peace. And most people want joy. And for me, the whole purpose of all this communication, well, let's say one of the purposes, there are many purposes, is to give the ancestors relevance now, is to heal ourselves, it's on our journey to self-mastery. But it's so we can co-create the energies of the fifth world of peace. We had the 4 previous celestial teacher worlds. We need to leave those behind. We have a fifth world of peace now to honour. We have a fifth world of peace where we have unconditional love. And the fifth world of peace is where all the possible timelines where we've made all the possible best decisions for ourselves converge. And we have the best potential for peace. For me, that's why we're sitting round this winter solstice fire now, with the snow softly falling, with the rustling of the leaves as the deer or whatever animals are moving through the deep dark pines. And there is no fear here either. For as you sit here, remember who you are, why you dreamed this dream, why you came. You came to make a difference. You came to be your authentic self. You came to work on yourself, to lose those traumas. It was never going to be an easy journey. But that's part of the learning, part of the wisdom sharing that we're sharing with our past and future ancestors. This is a prayer for all today. This visualization. Sitting at the fire, co-creating with friend fire. And it's also a time leading up to that winter solstice of hibernation. So get some books, tuck yourself away, get some introspection and retrospection. Have some quiet time for yourself. The fire is dimming now. We've burnt most of the wood. We've said whatever prayers and revocations we want to say. And it's time to say thank you to the fire and thank you to the grandmothers. We might sit a while and stare at the embers, thanking them for their messages, deep joy in our hearts. Our prayers are our offerings to the ancestors of this prayer ground. Our unconditional love is offering. Maybe we've had a pot of water boiling on there, or even a grandmother's soup made of chicken bones that we're going to take now and just pour around the circle around the fire, not just as protection, but as an offering to the ancestors of this land. We're going to thank the grandmothers and the 7 directions and the 4 winds. All beings that have been a beautiful co-creation part of our fire today. And we're going to say thank you. Close sacred space. Step back from the fire. Pick up our basket, our wood basket. Pull our blankets round us. And leave the prayer ground. And the path we take out of the prayer ground, our winter solstice prayer ground, is not the same path we took into it. We're going to walk a new path now as renewal, of rebirth, of exciting potentials as the days start to get longer. the sun shines brighter, and we're another step closer to that fifth world of peace. Aho. Thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope that struck some magical, mystical chord within you. May your Christmases be bright and happy, your festivities be loving and peaceful and full of joy, and may you find that inner joy within yourself, and may you find that joy with the grandmothers always. Thank you. Aho.